Hi everyone, Grey Power 60 here. Welcome to Tea with Me Tuesday. Welcome back to our Tea with Me Tuesdays. Oh, I just reheated that, so it's a little bit hot. So it's been a while, and I really missed my Tuesdays. I really missed our chats and things like that. And I was thinking, what am I going to talk about today? So I thought I would just sort of recap the summer. We were very busy. My son and his wife went camping, and of course they needed a big car to drive them with all their camping equipment to their site, and it was about an hour and a half away, about an hour and a half. So on Wednesday, I borrowed my daughter's car. She has a Honda, big thing. I don't know what it is. It seats 8, I think, or something. Anyway, I used to always be nervous to drive her car because my car is low. It's a sedan. It's 4-door, regular kind of car, and I've driven big trucks when we were moving and all of that stuff. So I never really bothered me. But driving her car, I think it's because it's her car. If it was one that was rented, I probably would have been a little less nervous. But I mean, I've driven big moving trucks, and when we've moved or my son's moved or whatever, and never had troubles with that. But I just felt a little nervous about it. But after the 2 trips, because we went down Wednesday, packed up their stuff. Oh my gosh, they had a lot of camping equipment. Of course, there's the 2 kids and food and blah, blah, blah. And they had a ball. It was the first real camping vacation they had, and they want to do it more often. And I think that's wonderful. But I loved driving her car. And the reason I loved it was because it has cameras in the back and cameras on the side. So when you're changing lanes, it's newer than mine. And I just loved it. I just thought that was great. And I was up higher than my car, which is lower to the ground. Was great driving it. And I thought, whoa, this could be okay. I could get used to this. And I was looking at her car and the way it's set up, and I was thinking, you know what? I could convert that and live in it. I could easily live in it. I mean, I've had this thing for a couple of years that I always wanted to get a recreational vehicle of some sort and travel, visit friends in the States and across Canada and things like that. Because I always used to love traveling. I always thought I was a bit of a gypsy. And I did a lot of traveling when my ex-husband and I were first married. We traveled everywhere. I mean, we went to... we were stationed in Germany. He was military. We were stationed in Germany for 3 years, and we traveled around. I'm going to be interrupted by my cat. We traveled around Europe. We traveled, I mean, not to all the places I wanted to go. Like I wanted to go to Lourdes. I wanted to go to Paris. But being a young couple and not much money, I had to work while I was there. So I worked for the Canadian Armed Forces as a, secretary type thing. And first job, I think, was a waitress or something, just to get some money in the house because he was a private, not making much money. We were newly married, But we did go to England. We did go to Scotland, which is where he was from, and visited his grandmother. And I was very, very pleased with that. Loved it. Loved the traveling. And it just gave me a bug. And I loved that whole idea. And then, after we divorced, I really didn't travel a lot because being a single mom, I had to work. And then when I was off, I was with my kids. So, there are a few things that I thought about, regrets. I was thinking about what regrets I have. And I think I only have two regrets in my life. One regret was selling the house that my ex-husband and I had bought together, but only lived together in that house for about 4 months before he left, which, was quite a shock and different story. But anyway, I wish I had kept that house, but I didn't know. And at the time, I wasn't working, and to try and make ends meet and so on and so forth. Um, but it was a great house. It was near the schools. It was a good location, things like that. So that was my one regret, I think, in life. And I often wonder how many of us, um, I always said I would never have regrets growing older, because too many people have regrets, and I didn't want to have any. But it ends up I have some anyway. I have a few regrets about a few things that are personal, um, but not big ones. Not they weren't big regrets. But my big regret was selling that house. That was my big regret, because that was my stability. That was my the one thing that I could work towards keeping. But when you're a single mom and there's emotions and there's jobs to get and things to do and so on and so forth, and the stories go on and on. So that was one regret of mine. The other regret that I had was not taking better care of myself as I got older. And I'm talking about, maybe because I used to take great care of myself when I was young, up until I would say between 45 and 55 is when the kind of decline of things. And I used to walk everywhere. I took buses everywhere. I knew the city so well and how to catch each bus to get to where I was going as quick as possible, because I didn't have a car. I had a car when I first divorced, but it was failing and I couldn't afford to keep it. And we could pretty well walk everywhere: grocery stores, banks, schools. Everything was, really close. Living in the city, that's, your neighborhood is your neighborhood, and you have everything. So um, I guess what I was thinking about was that, you know, I would have liked to have traveled a little bit more, um, and I didn't. And I, like I say, having children, being a single mom, your priorities are shifted, and you have stressors. You have stressors at work. You have stressors with your children going to school, their friends, they're growing up, and on and on and on. So there's things that we regret in life, that are minor, minor little regrets. And I think I only have a couple of very minor regrets. But the other regret was not taking better care of myself as I got older. Now, I thought I had, but I think what was happening is, the closer it came to me being a caregiver for my uncle, for my stepdad, for my mom, concerns with my brother, as we all got older, as my dear family members started passing away, um, you start to sort of feel, I won't say depressed. I mean, of course, there's depression in there, and there's anxieties, and there's all of these other things that, we go through, but it's not so much the depression, it's the changing of life. It's the getting closer to death, I guess, is another way of looking at it. The closer we get to our old age, sometimes we give up, I guess is what I'm saying. We kind of give up, and we look back on our life and we start feeling regrets. And I never wanted that for my life. I always wanted to feel that the decisions I made were good decisions for the moment, at the time, for the circumstances. Um, that's how I justified it, you know, and I think that's how we all justify things in our life. Um, so, in thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, I sort of thought about regrets, and I thought about how, you know, we forget to take care of ourselves. Some people really are good at it. They take care of themselves, they eat well, and so on. But I forget to do those things because I'm so busy and worried about my mom. Um, and her health has been declining quite a bit, and she's lost an awful lot of weight. She is so tiny now, and it disturbs me, it bothers me. And it's gotten to the point where I'm making softer and softer foods for her in smaller and smaller amounts. I still try to sort of, you know, give her the basic, you know, the meat and the potatoes and the veggies and, you know, fruit and things like that, um, to at least try and maintain a good balance for her. But I forget to do that for me. And um, I think that's something that I kind of get upset with myself for, because I am so busy worrying about my mom that I forget to do things, you know, like when I lived alone. I mean, I had certain days where I cleaned the house, certain times when I, did laundry and things like looking after myself, taking a shower every day. Sometimes it would be at 1 in the morning, sometimes it'd be, you know, in the afternoon, didn't matter. Um, I forget to take care of myself, but because I am so preoccupied with other things. So we've tried a few things getting respite care. I do have a girl that comes every Thursday for 2 hours. And it's been the same girl. The first girl we had, Mom liked her. The second girl um, has been with us for the last 3, 4 weeks, and Mom likes her. And all they do is sit. The TV's on. They sit and chat a bit. I don't know what else they do. My sister-in-law has mentioned that perhaps I should, you know, have a list of things they could do or to get Mom to do. And I think maybe that's what I'll do next time. I was supposed to do that the last time, um, but we were just so busy with our lives the last couple of weeks of the summer. It's been, it's been a little bit difficult. So, so in saying that, what I need to do for me, I need to reevaluate, because I have been so busy looking after Mom and her diet, I've forgotten about my own. So I've kind of given myself a little challenge for September. And that challenge is to keep a record and um, try and eat better, eat well, but also lose a little weight at the same time. I'd like to lose a little weight. I'd also like to be a little bit more fit. Now, at 68 years old, people are saying, why bother? Well, maybe I'll feel a little better if I do. Maybe I'll feel more, myself if I get back into exercising. When I had the dog, I was walking 2, 3, 4 times a day, walking around with him. Like I said earlier, when I didn't have a car, me and the kids, we walked everywhere. And I think that's why I was so healthy, is because I walked a lot. I had a lot of exercise. Um, I had a girlfriend that her and I, after work, we used to go and work out for an hour um, at the gym. And then it closed down. But we did that for about a year, and I was in really, really good shape. Now it's time for me to start looking after myself. I've had a lot of small little medical issues that I got to deal with. You've probably noticed that my teeth are starting to go. I've always had, I've always had a terrible time with my teeth, but um, I just haven't had the time to go, or I can't leave Mom long enough to go, or have her sitting in the dental office to go. So now that we have the respite care, I'll be able to go to the dentist, and these need to be done. And I also need to get glasses. I need to get my eyes tested. Now, these are things I just, most people are selfish enough, which is a good thing, to look after themselves. But I'm not doing that, and I haven't been doing that for about 3 years. 3 years I have not really been looking after myself. I dive into my craft stuff. I go shopping for stuff for my craft. It makes me feel better. I start making things and doing things, and that kind of brings me into my world. However, if I'm not healthy, how can I, um, how can I keep myself healthy and fit if I'm not looking after myself? So that is another regret of mine, is not taking care of myself a little bit better. And as I said, before Mom moved in with me, I was pretty good, I didn't exercise that much, and I did do a few things, but I was a good eater. In other words, I had my salads and my fruits and small portions. My fridge was never really full because I always felt it was a waste to buy a big grocery order when the food's going to go bad. So I would just buy portions that I needed for myself. And I started buying a lot of groceries when Mom moved in because she had a good appetite and everything. But now that it's declining, I'm finding I have to now change my shopping habits so that we go more often and buy less, so that things don't go bad. And that happens. That happens a lot. It's one of the things that I make the time to take Mom out. Let's go do a few groceries, and we'll pick up a few things. Like tomorrow, we're going to have to go out and pick up some bananas and some bread. Just a few little things there. But I just thought about all of the things that I wanted to talk about, all of the things that I thought would be interesting to talk about. And then I started thinking of regrets, and I started thinking about not taking care of myself more, because if I don't take care of myself and I get sick, who's going to take care of Mom? And that was a big worry last year on my shoulders with the number of times that we had to take Mom to the hospital. It was, I wouldn't eat, like I would take her in. We'd be there 15 hours. I didn't eat the whole time. I'd be drinking water or drinking pop, and just not looking after myself because of the worry. You're not hungry when you're worried. Some people are, but I wasn't anyway. So now I'm trying to take better care of myself. I'm going to have a little health day routine. I gotta have some of my tea. And they'll take you along on my little journey. So there's, with my crafting, with my caregiving, and with looking after myself, I think that the school year starting and kids going back to school, and everyone is shopping for their kids. The moms are getting anxious for the kids to get back to school so they don't have to think about how to keep them amused all summer. There's a lot of busy people right now getting ready for the fall and so on. And I thought the new school year has always been a time for me when I liked doing things new. A lot of people like New Year's. New Year's Eve, okay, you make your resolutions and then you start, and that's your new year. For me, it's always been like the school year, the starting of the school year. Excuse me. When fall starts, it's when I feel a renewed sense. Even now, I haven't been to school in years. You know, I haven't had to deal with children going to school for many, many years. But just the idea that September always seemed to be the beginnings of new and exciting adventures. So I thought, okay, we're going to have our Tea with Me Tuesdays. I'm going to have a day of talking about health, exercise, and all of those things that are, you know, going to help me look after me so that I can look after others. So that's kind of my ideas for the fall. And of course, with craft fair coming, I'll be getting that prepared, deciding what I'm going to make, what I'm going to do, what products I want to sell. I'm going to be going to some craft fairs. I'm going to take you along with me with those craft fairs that I'm not going, because mine is not until the end of November. So there's going to be some in September, there's going to be some in October, and I'm going to take you along with me. We're going to kind of have a sneak peek at what's out there, what are people trending towards, and be a little bit more informed so that when I do have my craft fair, it'll be, you know, it'll be a little bit more of what people want and not just what I'm trying to sell. And I have some wonderful ideas that I'll be sharing with you in the weeks and weeks to come. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for coming back and joining me on my Tea with Me Tuesdays. I hope you enjoy my little ramblings. The only thing I was thinking of talking about was our regrets. The minor regrets are things that we can slough off, but the major regrets, and I had those too, selling my house and not looking after myself a little bit better, especially when Mom come to live with me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to my new subscribers. If you are new, I hope you will subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified of any videos that I'm going to be putting up, whether it be crafts or whether it be Tea with Me Tuesdays or health and exercise related. We won't call it diet because to me it's just healthy food choices. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, guys. I really missed you, and I hope you will come back again next week. In the meantime, take care. God bless. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.